isolation may not be enough. So as the number of COVID-19 cases continues to rise, what will it take for this quarantine to be lifted? So our guest today will help us understand kung ano ang kailangan mangyari para ma-lift ang ECQ at kung ano ang dapat asahan ng taong bayan sa mga susunod na araw. So to tell us more about the government's National Action Plan on COVID-19, we are joined today by a doctor and advisor to the Interagency Task Force on COVID-19. At ito si Dr. Tony Leachon. Thanks for being with us today, Dr. Leachon.
Good afternoon. Magandang hapon, Dr. Freddie, at sa mga nakikinig at nanonood sa inyong programa. Magandang hapon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Dr. Leachon, can you give us an update about the COVID-19 cases? Nasaan po tayo ngayon?
Well, right now, as of ang updates usually ng Department of Health ay usually 4 o'clock in the afternoon. At ang latest natin, 3,660. Meron tayong 414 new cases. We have 163 deaths, yung mga namatay. 11 ho ang pumanaw ho sa COVID na bago. And then we have 70 recoveries, ang kahapon ho 8. Pero ang bago ho na gusto kong sabihin, kung mapapansin nyo ang reporting tungkol lang ho doon sa cases, yesterday, the Department of Health initiate na po na yun pong cases na yan ay over 20,000 cases, pati positive and negative. Kasi if the reporting will be like that, na 3,660 deaths, sasabihin mo, malulungkot ka kasi para bang wala ka nakikitang silver lining. So, ang pag-report dyan, ang denominator dapat natin ay yung total number of cases or individuals. Kahit multiple test siya in one person, pero individuals ang bilang. Tapos yung 3,660 over the 20,000, that will be the percentage. And 80% of those cases are negative. And 20% yung nag-positive. So that the people will not be alarmed. And then ang case fatality rate is computed as the number of deaths over the cases na positive. So usually, ang case fatality rate natin ay 4 to 5%. So yun yung bagong datos reporting. Okay, Freddie, are you?
Yes, Dr. Leachon, but yes, but despite the fact, I think one thing na napapansin ng taong bayan is patuloy pa rin ang pagdami ng mga kaso, despite na nasa ECQ na tayo. So ano po ang dahilan kung bakit patuloy na tumataas ang mga kaso ng COVID-19 sa bansa kahit naka-enhanced community quarantine na tayo?
May effect yung enhanced community quarantine. Ang nakita ko lang na dapat gawin, kunin lahat yung data from the RITM kasi 80% ng test, around 18,000, ay ginawa sa RITM. Then ipa-plot mo siya and then titingnan natin, let's say the first index case ay February 2, tapos I think March 8, tapos tumaas na tayo. Kung lahat ng yun makikita natin, then you put a milestone when the ECQ na ilagay. Tapos, after 1 month, let's say April 14, titingnan mo na yung effect na yun kung nabawasan yung mga kaso. Doon mo malalaman. Kasi yung positive ang nire-report mo eh. Pero yung bang mga cases nag-dwindle over time. So, kunyari, April 14 naman,
maglo-launch na Doctor, sorry for interrupting you, Doctor. So would you say that the ECQ that we are in right now, going on our 3rd week, is still effective? It is still taking effect despite the rise of cases?
It is effective kasi yung 414 new cases yan, remnants siya, Freddie, nung reporting last week. Alam naman natin may backlog ang RITM. So ang ginawa ng Department of Health is to establish more centers so that more people will be able to go to those centers like Lung Center or uh, San Lazaro hospitals na St. Luke's lately ang mga naging nasa phase 5 so that you will be able to distribute yung volume ng patients and then ang turnaround time magiging 48 hours or less, hindi katulad let's say ng 1 week. So, ang nakikita ko dito, kung makukuha natin yung data na yon, maaaral natin. Walang duda, globally, once na early ka ng social distancing through a quarantine, may effect yan. Ang problema lang na nakikita ko, Freddie, medyo late tayo nung nag-social distancing, yung quarantine. It should be earlier, pero nandun na rin yun. Kasi kung maaga tayo nag-social distancing like Korea and a quarantine or lockdown katulad ng China and Korea maaga nag-testing even without a lockdown, alam mo doon sa curve, nandun na sila sa flatten. Nag-flatten na sila because they started earlier. The Chinese, using draconian measures, were able to flatten the curve because they started early. That's why namimigay na sila ng mga PPE and other supplies and ventilators ang Korea. Ngayon, we started late in terms of our travel ban and quarantine. So nandun tayo sa area ng pataas. Once na nakita natin yung peak by the correct data na ibibigay sa atin ng RITM and Department of Health, pag na-reach natin ng peak, then makikita natin nagpa-flatten ng curve. But we need to have the cases and put a milestone there whether nagdi-decrease tayo so that we can plot the curve. So sa ngayon, ang nakikita lang natin ng cases, in contrast with other countries in the world like sa Johns Hopkins, nakikita natin doon, pinaplot ang bawat country and then nalalaman natin where we are right now in the epidemic curve. Yun ang gusto kong explain. And therefore, there would be a scientific presentation to the president. So what we use when we discuss this ay yung rising number of cases, number 2, yung number of deaths, and then of course yung recoveries natin mabagal ng konti. It's just because overwhelm yung healthcare system natin. Yeah. So Freddie, did you
yeah,
get it?
that's good to know that the effects of yes. So the effects of what we are doing here for the past 3 weeks will be seen probably at a later date because like what you said, medyo huli tayo no sa pagso-social distancing. But ngayon, Dr. Leachon, na-extend na po ang quarantine time natin. Ano? What can the public expect in the next few days?
Okay. It should be a collective action right now of the public and the private sector. Kasi nag-self-isolation tayo, dapat mas enhance yung ating social distancing by not allowing our citizenry na lumabas except for the exempted cases na essential to the work as well as essential to the country like yung mga medical personnel, yung nagke-carry ng mga food. Ngayon, kung malilimit natin to, we reduce the probability of transmitting the virus. So dapat more enhanced quarantine. Number 2, we have to start with the mass targeted testings right now. Kasi pagka na-diagnose natin yung mga positive COVID, yung PUI at saka PUM, right now the PUI 13,000, ang PUM natin ay 300,000, then we can actually isolate yung PUI
Dr. Leachon,
so that will not,
Dr. Leachon, sorry. Dr. Leachon, sorry for interrupting you. We'll talk about that. That's a very important point that we will be talking about that you were mentioning. But first, let's pause for a quick break. So kung meron kayong mga tanong para sa ating guest na si Dr. Leachon, please send them on our Facebook page and we'll try to answer them as many as we can. So please stay tuned.
19. Kahalintulad ito ng mga naunang Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome o SARS at Middle East Respiratory Syndrome o MERS. Base sa pag-aaral ng mga eksperto, mas nakakahawa ang COVID-19 pero mas kaunti ang namamatay rito kumpara sa SARS at MERS. Paano ba kumakalat ang COVID-19? Ang coronavirus ay galing sa mga hayop. Hinala ng mga scientists, ang SARS ay galing sa mga pusa at ang MERS sa camel. Pero ang COVID-19 hindi pa tukoy kung saang hayop nagmula. Sa mga tao naman, naipapasa ang COVID-19 sa pamamagitan ng tinatawag na human secretion tulad ng droplets mula sa sipon, bahing o ubo.
And welcome back to The Doctor is In, and I am Dr. Freddie Gomez. So, still with us is Dr. Leachon. He is the Special Advisor to National Action Plan and Chief Implementer, Carly. I'm sorry, we are with Tony Leachon, and he's helping us answer several questions with regards to yung extension natin ng community quarantine. Now, Dr. Leachon, you were mentioning earlier before we went into break an important point, which is mass testing. So by April 14, yun ang plan na magkaroon ng mass testing po tayo. Could you please explain ano po ang maidudulot nito at kung sino ang target ng mass testing?
Ang mass testings ay ginawa yan ng mga successful countries in the world na nakapag-flatten ng curve. Ang model country niyan ay South Korea, Australia, Singapore, Taiwan, Hong Kong. Ang ibig sabihin po niyan ay hindi naman buong Pilipinas, kundi yung mga pasyenteng may symptoms ng COVID, may fever, cough, sore throat, or may shortness of breath. Tapos, sila po ay na-diagnose ng merong COVID+. Positive po siya, ganun po yun. Ngayon, yung meron naman ho tayong mga PUI, ang ibig sabihin nun, hindi pa ho sila nako-confirm na positive, pero sila po ay may symptoms. Tapos yung PUM naman, wala silang symptoms, pero may exposure sila sa mga taong ganito. Ngayon, bakit importante yung pag-differentiate sa kanila sa mass testings? Now, tandaan natin, ang coronavirus, 80% niyan asymptomatic. 20% ang magiging severe at pwede kang madala sa ospital, which will actually create or overwhelm the healthcare system natin and siraan yung capacity natin to admit patients. Now, if we will actually prevent by social distancing and then isolating this in quarantine areas or in areas, let's say yung PUM sa bahay, yung mga PUI in designated area like PGH or the other infrastructures na kinreate ng IATF at saka ng National Task Force, then we will reduce the transmission. Kasi itong virus na to, high transmission ho ito eh. So ngayon, kung hindi ho siya makakahawa at ma-identify natin yon, then we will reduce more the transmission together with the initial approach, which is the social distancing, which is the quarantine. So malaking bagay ho ito na ma-isolate mo. And then yung number 3, reason for that, but the targeting, it is likened to humahanap ka ng aspile in a haystack or dayami with your eyes closed. So, mahirap pang gamot ng mga bagay na mali ang diagnosis mo. So, you'll not be able to correct the treatment, particularly in this instance. So, we use reference modeling in other countries like the Ebola outbreak, the coronavirus experience in South Korea. And ito yung inadapt ng National Task Force by using reference modeling na inaral na in other countries na ginagawa rin ng first world countries. So we should not reinvent the wheel but execute it right now. Kaya yun ang ginagawa natin. And the mass targeting ng mga pasyenteng to, not the entire population, but the vulnerable patients like 60 years and above, may hypertension, may diabetes, may asthma, or weakened immunity. Sila yung mga pasyenteng kailangan ihiwalay natin kasi ang probability na sila ay magkaroon ng ventilator ay napakataas. Ang ventilator, 400,000. Ang mortality once nalagyan ka ng tube is almost 80%. So ayaw natin paabutin doon. And ang carriers ng mga sakit, actually, yung mga PUI at saka PUM, yung man silang carrier. So we should be able to isolate them in a quarantine area or sa home so that we will reduce the transmissibility. The virus will only disappear kung wala siyang makikitang host. Mamamatay ang virus pag wala na siya makakapitan. And that way, we will be able to reduce right now the impacts of the epidemic and flatten the curve.
Okay, yes, Doctor. We talked about flattening the curve even earlier, ano? But with 3,000 cases already verified, do we already have an idea, Dr. Leachon, kung nasan ba talaga tayo sa curve na yun? Paakyat pa lang ba tayo? Malapit na po ba tayo sa peak? Just to gain some bearing kung nasan po tayo, do we
Very
know?
good. Actually, paakyat pa lang ho tayo. We have not reached the peak. I discussed this on my Facebook Live that we are actually nandito sa may, ganito kasi ang curve natin, and then pababa, and then magpa-flatten. Based on the JP Morgan analysis tayo sa Johns Hopkins din, nandun tayo sa paakyat. So you have here acceleration then accumulation. Nandito pa tayo. Once na naakyat tayo sa peak, yun ang peak, wala nang choice kung hindi bumaba. And usually the incubation period of an epidemic ay 4 to 6 weeks. And once na nagawa mo lahat yung blueprint natin, kalkulado 2 to 3 weeks, dadapa ang ating curve. So once all of this blueprint natin, enhanced community quarantine, mass testings ginawa, we supply the PPE so that the doctors have the confidence right now to treat patients. Number 4, we have a right command center so that agile ang response mo. Ang pag-aaral, pagka ginawa natin yan, excellent in execution, magiging okay. Kaya in-announce yan earlier, last night, para meron tayong 3 weeks to intensify our efforts. Kasi kung i-declare pa yan, April 14, nakakondition na naman tao sa social media, 99.9% pumapayag sila to extend. So I think the President's decision to preemptively announce it is to prepare the public during the Lenten season and to reflect on it and make sacrifices really para tayo magstay sa home kasi very important yan to reduce the transmission of the virus. I think ang galing ng ginawa ng Presidente sa pag-announce ng earlier para sa ganun, mabawasan pa yung transmission. So that gives us 3 weeks right now instead of 2 weeks. Tandaan nyo ngayon ay April 7. So April 14 yan, meron tayong 1 week to start off with an enhanced quarantine. We have time to do the mass testings right now. We have time to go to the COVID hospitals. We have time right now to do all the measures natin at an early time. So bumabawi tayo and I congratulate Secretary Duque, Secretary Galvez, Secretary Lorenzana and the President and all Cabinet Secretary Nograles in coming up with a preemptive as well as an approach to address it head on. So I think that's a good move. Ang kailangan na lang natin gawin is basically to execute with excellence. Dapat with rigor and details tayo. And everyday dapat ang meeting nito whether we are actually achieving our goals day to day.
That's good to hear, Dr. Leachon. Let's take some questions also, if we may, from our viewers online. We have a question here, Doctor, from Wendy. Ang tanong niya is, kailan po natin malalaman kung naabot na natin yung peak ng number of cases? And paano po natin malalaman na nag-flatten na yung curve? So thank you for that
Very
question,
good.
Wendy.
Inumpisahan na ng Department of Health i-report yung denominator. Kung makikita natin, ipa-plot natin yung mga cases, malalaman natin with this intervention kung kumukonti na yung cases natin. That's one indication. And then also we will plot also the number of deaths natin to a minimum 0. Pero kahapon 11 pa yung namatay. So ibig sabihin hindi pa tayo successful as one metric. And then ang nag-recover sa atin 8 lang. So kokonti lang. Ilan na naka-confine? Kunyari 3,660. Edi almost 3,000 pa rin ang nandun. So, yun ay mga metrics of success natin. Yan ho yung pinagbatayan ng IATF po para makapag-suggest, even Secretary Gomez, Secretary Duque, to the President na ito yung nangyari. Ang tawag po natin na metrics of success, very important po yan. Ngayon, yung curve po, through the initiative of Dr. Erbosa and the epidemiologists, once we have the data na complete from the RITM and of course the sa PGH pag ginawa na in other centers, we will be able to plot through the curve. Pero meron na hong gumawa for us eh. So I look at the Johns Hopkins Hospital. If you look at, let's say, the mountain, yung parang curve na bell-shaped curve na yan, we're right here going up to the peak eh. We haven't reached the peak eh. Ngayon, pagka ginawa natin, na-reach natin ng peak, there's no other ways except na mag-flatten yun. But we have to put right now the milestone kung saan nagkaroon ng impact para sabihin natin na this particular intervention, aside from the ECQ, mass testings, protecting the doctors, non-agile response and coordinated response through the implementation of Secretary Galvez and his team, nag-matter. Before pa tayo magkaroon ng discussion on the economic rehab and recovery, which is actually the last stage.
Now, let's take another question. This one is from Avia. What can we expect after we finish the ECQ on April 30? Safe na po ba bumalik kaagad sa work? So I guess maraming excited nang bumalik sa trabaho at bumalik na yung mga normal lives nila.
Okay, I have researched today. I read 4 articles. Ang magiging scenario nito, kasi hindi pa naman tayo nakakuha ng epidemic, binase ito sa previous experience sa 1918 Spanish flu pandemic. Right. So, since the vaccine natin is 1.5 years pa for mass production ngayon, ang question natin, what will happen after April 30? So, siyempre, meron doon metric of success whether we will lift the lockdown. I hope it will be kasi ang dami nating ginawa. Ngayon, ang magiging question natin, how do we go back to work? Well, magte-test siguro huli tayo using a rapid testing test kit. Baka hindi na swab, RT-PCR yung gold standard. Pero kung may antibodies ka na, isipin mo, pwede ka na makasalimuha ngayon sa tao. But I think the new normal is actually social distancing. I-maintain natin yan. I-maintain natin ng hygienic measures. I-maintain natin yung ating telemedicine muna, ang telecommuting. We will try to disinfect a lot of areas. We will clean up and develop a way of life na malinis tayong lahat. And then perhaps the Senate and the Congress could come up with a legislation on comprehensive plan para magkaroon tayo ng how to adapt to epidemics, and then create a new law aside from the UHC on how to create a manual for this. Alam mo, social distancing is an expensive strategy, economic and social cost. Last night, naawa ako sa presidente despite the efforts niya. Wala siyang choice kung hindi pangalagaan yung mahihirap. Naglagay siya ng additional money, I think 2.7 billion from 200 billion. And then this will be challenging for the next few months kasi merong study ng Singapore nagka-second wave after they naging complacent sila. Ang nangyari, nagkaroon na sila ng second wave. That's why today, April 7 to May 4, walang pasok, nag-lockdown sila. Because nag-lax ang kanilang defense, ang kanilang strategy. So, and then according to the article sa JP Morgan, which is a financial magazine, ang sinasabi, ang tawag nila dyan parang sa volcanic eruption, mayroon kang aftershocks. And then you have multitude of shocks dahil hindi mo pa naman alam kung control lang si barangay kung mayroong infection siya. So yung intensive surveillance natin, gagawin natin until we develop the vaccine for that. And we might have several or multitude of effect after the lifting of the lockdown. That is the scenario that I'd like to bring to the table tomorrow in the meeting. Kasi siyempre, what now? Next steps and beyond. Kunyari, ano na magiging buhay natin after that? So we need to have a strategic plan in order to prepare the people pagbalik nila sa office, sa school, after April 30, and that is on May 1. So we need to think ahead. We need to be a strategic thinker. We need to think like a chess player na ahead ka ng mga 10 steps or 10 moves so that you will not be late in terms of the response. And it will be a coordinated move and a collective effort of the government as well as the private sector.
Before we go, Dr. Leachon, very quickly, do you have a message for the viewers or any important public reminders for them?
Well, alam mo, this is an important time in our life, no? And we have not naman experienced an epidemic in our lifetime. It comes at a time na it's Lenten season and Holy Tuesday right now. We're fighting an invisible enemy na never in our lifetime na the whole world is actually kneeling right now, an invisible enemy. And our only defense in the Lenten season is someone din na hindi natin nakikita, and that's God. Diba? You have an invisible enemy and the divine intervention din natin, hindi rin natin nakikita. The divine healer is God, hindi natin nakikita. So we need a lot of prayers aside from the things na gagawin natin. And then as a nation, if we love our country, if we love our neighbors and our family and loved ones, the ultimate sacrifice this Lenten season is to stay at home, obey the government, sanitation, social distancing, read a lot, wala tayong ng divisiveness, walang ranting, walang bashing, all towards lang unification so that we will win the battle. The battle is not against people. There is no time for blame game. We have a common enemy, and that's the virus. So I hope this Lenten season will be able to reflect. And as a nation, we should fight with all our heart and then pray to the Lord na sana malampasan natin ito.
And with that, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Leachon, for joining me and helping me answer the questions that a lot of viewers may have. And I'd like to thank all the viewers for joining me in this episode of The Doctor's In. Please do join me again tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. where we will continue to bring you information that you need for COVID-19.